All right, a warning up front about this next story, okay? It may not be suitable for young children to hear, so just take a moment on that. We're talking about a new bill in Columbus. It's getting a lot of attention. It's nicknamed the Conception Begins at Erection Act.
Columbus Bureau reporter Morgan Trout explains it's an attempt to expand the conversation about unplanned pregnancies and whether men should be held accountable as well. One more reminder, this report does use technical language.
You don't get pregnant on your own.
That's why gynecologist and Ohio State Rep. Anita Samani wants to start regulating men's reproductive health care.
If you're going to penalize someone for an unwanted pregnancy, then why not penalize the person who is also responsible for the pregnancy?
She introduced a bill that would make it a felony for men to discharge genetic material without the intent to fertilize an embryo. There are some exceptions, such as if you use protection during sex with a partner or masturbation. So what this would apply to is consensual sex without a condom, without actually wanting to procreate.
It's beyond ridiculous what's going on here. It's a mockery of the most basic biological concepts.
That sentiment is something both anti-abortion advocate Austin Beigel and Samani agree on.
If you think it's absurd to regulate men, then you should think it's equally absurd to regulate women.
So this is really a statement.
It is a statement.
Voters legalized and protected the right to abortion in 2023, but activists like Beigel are still trying to reverse that. He says that in the coming weeks, lawmakers will introduce a new bill to criminalize abortion totally.
Just says human life begins at conception. Therefore, all the protections that are offered to other people under the state law are also offered to the preborn.
He adds that he understands that Samani is being satirical, but that she's missing the mark.
The pro-life movement has never tried to regulate women's bodies. We're trying to regulate the actions of people who want to kill another person.
Beigel says this bill is invasive and isn't based on science, and he questions how the Democrats are spending their time.
If they think that it's a waste of taxpayer money, well, then they should think the same on the other side.
This bill likely isn't conceivable in the GOP-controlled legislature, but it is heating up the conversation. At the Ohio State House, I'm Morgan Trout reporting.
Fuck that, I'll get a vasectomy. Shalom. First thing and foremost, I want to give all praises and glory and honor that's due to Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai, Bahashim Havakakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders, a great millstone and rule well. Peace and blessings and salutations to the hopeful elect. Noah's in his gospel broad, lifting up the standard of Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai, wherever it may be. What do we have here, right? Mad feminist, as they said it's satire, so it's not necessarily almost a valid point. It's not necessarily, how can I say this? It's not official, all right? But this doesn't mean that this type of behavior isn't off the table, because you got to understand we're dealing with some diabolical madmen and women, okay, under this current regime of Edomite supremacy. And for those of you that don't know or that's not familiar with who the Edomites are, the biblical Edomites, aka the Idumeans, are the so-called white race today. Now, you got this, it says conception begins at an erection act. So you mean to tell me if my ride gets hard because I'm aroused, basically I have to be responsible, I have to put a baby inside of a woman, even if that isn't my intention. But you shot yourself in the foot because you said protection, which, to be honest with you, shouldn't nobody be having sex unprotected anyway, especially in this day and age when all this diseases and amount of welfare and all this other shit is going on here. But this is a wicked system, man, because if they were able to pass this bill, they will very well do so, because you got to understand that under the Democratic Party, these libtards, or these liberals, as they like to parade themselves, which ain't nothing but a bunch of degenerates. Same thing on the Republican end of it. But basically, they're raging. They're pissed off because this guy Trump has stopped that gender care, the affirmative gender care, and all that other bullshit. He's pretty much put a halt to it, and he's phasing out certain government fundings to woke people, trans people, gay people, Jake people, and he's putting a halt to a lot of these programs. Which, in many ways, it's not a bad idea, because if you look at the spending that the last administration has conducted on transgender research on animals, these demons spent $241 million on transgender research on animals, which is animal cruelty, man. All right, you got Maxine Waters, which she looks like a fucking crypt keeper out of hell. She look like she just woke up out of a goddamn casket somewhere, and she's on there talking shit about nobody elected Elon Musk and this and this and that. But a lot of you so-called Democrats or some of you political people are you're non-elected too. You know, and a lot of you have gotten in places, positions of power because of your ill dealings. Okay, because if people understood your agenda behind these wicked programs, they would have never put you in office anyway. But yet you got the Republicans screaming, the Democrats screaming like crazy because they mad at this guy Elon Musk because they're trying to, cut government spending, which ain't no way in hell you spend $291 million of money that I've paid into it. The average working person has paid into this system just so you can get animals to flip over and do something that's not natural to their flesh, so to speak. Like fucking monkeys becoming gay. Like what kind of Mickey Mouse madness is that? Okay, but this is what happens when you have a rulership of wicked and evil and satanic people, man. Okay, and this is why Yahweh Bashim Yahushua has to take these people out of the earth, because it's conception begins at erection act. Are you serious? So if I get aroused, and basically, let's just say right, if I'm flirting with a woman at a bar, right? And sometimes women, they get all touchy and feely and shit. And Jake, man, Jake like being in the presence of women anyway. That's just how we're wired as men, right? So let's just say we talking, and I'm talking shit to her, spitting a little game to her, right? And all of a sudden she gets aroused by that. So she decides to put her foot on my lap, and then I get aroused from that. So basically I have to go into this woman and put a baby in her based on the consent of unprotected sex, right? Get the fuck out of here. You're crazy as hell. I'm pulling out just for that reason alone. For real. But this is madness, man, but this is the world we live in, and this is the whole concept of the New World Order. You won't be able to go anywhere within 15 minutes of your own home. Okay, fucking you got a carbon footprint. When you run out of carbon footprints for the month, then you got to stay put until your number resets. You know what I'm saying? You only watch so much TV, play so many video games. You can't have sex with a woman. Just like they showed you in that movie Demolition Man. They basically showed you the concept of having sex virtually through a VR headset, which is basically the metaverse. And basically what happened was when she invited John Spartan to her suite, he was like, I never touched you, because basically he was getting into it. When he took it off and realized that it was a bunch of madness, he got kind of offended because he wanted to do it the old-fashioned way. And she said, no, that's outlawed because of the diseases and all types of shit. And then he was like, well, what about kids? She said there were particular methods as to having kids, man. Like you got surrogates and shit. But now they're using AI and finding out through means of research through AI on how to artificially assimilate a damn woman, man, without you going into her. And this is why this man got to freaking go, bro, because this is just too much. This is too goddamn much, man. All right. And there's always a goddamn woman that's ahead of the ham on these ridiculous these woke policies. Well, women can't unalive their babies. Then men should be responsible for getting them. Like, get the fuck out of here. That's called the natural way. That's the natural physiology of a man to get erected when he's aroused at something, man. So if I can't, this place has got to go, man. I can't even take this shit serious no more. For real, this is complete madness. But anyway, this is the book of Micah 2, and I'm gonna start at verses 1. It says, woe to them that devise iniquity. And you go into the word iniquity, it goes into sin on top of sin, right? And this devil is full of iniquity. This is why Yahweh Bashim Yahushai must take this man down, because if they can get away with shit like that, they would literally put chastity belts on our rods, man. Literally, they'll find your ass for standing up and pissing at a urinal, bro. Oh, you got to sit in the urinal and piss. All because this system is set up to totally castrate the Israelite man, okay? Because it tells us that only how you can overthrow the strong man is if you bind his house. You have to overthrow the strong man first. So with all this chemicals and all of this, the chemicals in the food and the stuff that's spraying in the air and the stuff that they pumping in TV, it's set up to chemically castrate Jake. And this is why a lot of these boys, man, by the time they're 7 years old, they walking around with double D cups, man. Literally like freaking women. All because of this wicked backwards ass system, which there has been an attack on masculinity and manhood since this whole woman's lib shit back in the 50s and 60s, man. Okay, they've been trying to castrate Jake. Oh, masculinity is toxic, but being a feminist isn't. Telling the man you can beat his ass and spit in his drink and throw a cup of cold water in his face and run him over and take his kids and take his money, that's not toxic. But yet when I'm standing up and I'm letting my voice be heard and I'm speaking with authority, you know, with a particular tone, then all of a sudden motherfuckers are, oh, that's toxic. Get the hell out of here, man. May the Most High destroy you people that think like that. But it says, and work evil upon their beds, and when the morning is light, they practice it because it is in the power of their hand, right? And that's these governor, it's really the elites, okay? It goes back into the elites, man, starting with the Rockefellers, the Rothschilds. It starts with the elite families first. They push certain agendas from the top, and then they trickle them on down through their lower level luminaries like Gates and Elon Musk. Like, they're talking about Elon Musk being the richest man in the world. You got your god. This man, look, he's a welfare case compared to the Rothschilds, man. Okay, he ain't on Warren Buffett level, even though I think Warren Buffett is worth like, what, 500 billion, if I'm not mistaken. Elon Musk is worth like, what, maybe 300, 400 something billion. You know, and the fact about it is, like, he's still working, which technically he doesn't have to, but it's part of a diabolical plan, man. But nonetheless, it says they covet fields and take them by violence in houses, and they take them away. So they oppress a man in his house, even a man in his heritage. And that's crazy, man. Us being the children of the Heavenly Father, the Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, which are the Israelites, are totally being oppressed in who we are. We can't even say who we are without some small hats yelling anti-Semitic. We call ourselves the Jews of the Bible, the Hebrew Israelites from whatever respective tribe, and all of a sudden we end up on a goddamn hate list. Black Law's Dictionary. Oh, we gotta watch them. He called himself a Levi from the tribe of Israel. We have to watch him. He's a terrorist. But yet the same demons in the land of Israel that got that land by rape, robbery, and murder, basically apartheid, you know, and all of a sudden these are the noble people of the Bible. Don't make no sense, man. And that's why the scriptures say, woe to them that call good evil and evil good. Because this is a wicked, a sick and a satanic kingdom, and it needs to go ASAP, you know. But it says, and they covet fields and take them by violence in the houses and take them away so that they oppress a man in his house, even a man in his heritage, man. All right. So we got to get the hell up out of here. It ain't looking too good. Putting a price on men's reproductive rights now because women can't unalive their babies. And the crazy part about it is that's on a state level. Trump ain't really do no changes to that, man. They just like, we not funding this shit no more. You know, because one thing about like transgenders, like they was able to go to the military and get free sex changes, and they would be put on basically a disabled list, so they wasn't able to deploy because basically they found out that these drugs they were giving these men and women was messing up their minds, man, which we could have told you that. You know, like the men's rod sizes were changing and decreasing and all types of shit. And they basically adopted the mindset and the principle of a woman. So therefore it led to depression. No, which is confusion, man, you know. But now women are screaming because, oh, we can't go out there. We can't do what we want to do. Our body, our rights, our choice. I mean, technically, you don't have a right to go out and be a hoe, you know, without the repercussions. And that's the problem. These people don't want to be held accountable for what they do. You know, you're screaming about equal rights, but yet there's a completely different agenda that the elites are getting ready to roll out to you people, man. Okay, what about when it comes time to take that MOTB, or you're going to be locked out of their way of living? Then what you going to say? While you're fighting over who's who? Like, we shouldn't be having arguments about men, what a man is and what a woman is. I mean, that's you learn that shit when you're able to understand or comprehend that you're actually a alive and well person. You know, like when I was 2 years old, 3 years old, I understood the concept of a boy and a girl, and I was well aware that I was a boy. You know what I'm saying? And never had to question it. Never will question it. You know, of course, I'm a man now, but still, you get the point. Let's go to Sirach. What is it? Sirach 10. And I'm going to start at verses 1. It says, a wise judge would instruct his people, and the government of a prudent man is well ordered. All right. A wise judge would instruct his people, but Esau is not a wise judge, man. Okay, instead he does things to completely piss off Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shine because he's the devil. You know, like a good point was made to me yesterday by one of the beloved sisters, and you know, I was getting vexed in the spirit because you know I was explaining to her. It's like a mother to me, man. You know, I'm able to vent to her, you know, when I'm in my feelings and shit. But I was like, yeah, man, this and that. She said, well, what do you expect? This man is the devil, and this is not his world. This is not his earth, so he can totally destroy the earth as much as he chooses to, and it don't really make a difference because it don't belong to him anyway. He just leasing it out, you know. So Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai is getting ready to evict his ass, man. You know, cutting down tree. Like I look out my window, like sometime I'm working from home, and I look out my window, and we had a beautiful nature scene. Like literally, it was just gorgeous, right? You know, it was like a hill. Like, you know, when I moved over here, it was very secluded. Trees were everywhere, and we was like on this hill, and right across the street from my crib, there was a plethora of trees there, man. I mean, just beautiful. Looked like back in 1970s or something. Just had that old school vibe to it. Peaceful, trees everywhere, birds, nature. So I want to say not even a year after I moved up here, these people decide to come and cut down all the nature, right? Because I assume they was trying to build some more apartments. Like, why would you even fuck this up? Like, why would you even do that? So instead, they've been breaking ground on this thing for going on 2.5, 3 years. And then when it's said and done, they build a fucking coffee shop in Peripheral's vision. I'm literally looking out my window right now, and I see a goddamn coffee shop now, which we used to be nature, beautiful, you know what I'm saying? Especially when the sun set, the sun is hitting off the trees is golden and red. It's just like, it was like gorgeous, man. Now all of a sudden, I look out my window and I'm seeing nothing but traffic. I can see the stores across the street. I see a parking lot, and I see like a big ass plot of grass, which they just cut down everything. And now it's a goddamn coffee shop. Here you have a coffee shop. Literally, when you come out from around my apartments, you have a coffee shop on that corner. And then literally the next lot down, not even a half a block, there's another coffee shop they just built. And then maybe 2 stoplights down, they build it's another fucking, it's like, how much coffee and chemicals do you people need, man? I never thought people had that much of affinity for coffee. I guess I'm wrong, man, because I'm like, the last thing I would do was tear down a beautiful product of the earth just to build a goddamn fucking coffee shop, man. And I was really pissed off about that. You know what I'm saying? But just getting back to the point, it says a wise judge would instruct his people. He don't care about the earth. You know, he don't care about the Lord's creation. He's just like, look, I'm gonna do what the hell I want to do. You know, it's fucking madness. It looks tacky as hell. And even if they did build that coffee shop or whatever they was going to build, they was not justified on cutting down all the trees. They could at least left 80% of it up, you know what I'm saying, and cut out what they needed to cut. Shit, we would have been cool with that, you know, because who wants to look out their window and see traffic? Like, who wants to see that? Like, where's the serenity in that? You know, this man is the devil. It's all good. But it says, as the judge of the people is himself saw his officers, what manner of man the ruler of the city is, such are they that dwell therein. And Esau is a degenerate. And this is why you have this demon here. All right, well, she's a straight demon. She's probably fucking small hat. I mean, she looked like she could be Northern Kingdom, but a lot of these people, they set up in office and so forth, and Jake think they're people, but they're usually heathen. She's probably some Amalekite chick. You know what I'm saying? I mean, she got the fat ass nose and everything. I wouldn't doubt it. She looks like she could be Northern Kingdom, but even then, they always put some liberal bitch up there to push emotional talking points so you people can have a fucking talking point and fall all over each other for nothing. Like, it's just stupid, man. You know? But anyway, let's keep going. It says, an unwise king destroyed his people, but through the prudence of them which are in authority, the city should be well inhabited. Yeah, man. And when we get in rulership, we're not going to have this confusion. Okay? We're not going to have classes on teaching you what a man and a woman is. It's going to be straight. It's going to be self-explanatory. Okay, we're not going to have gender affirming care, none of that folly here. Okay, that stuff is going to be burnt up on this side, like it tells you in Peter's that the works and elements should melt with fervent heat. Because when the missiles touch this place, all that wickedness is gone, man. All right, like when you go back into the book of Revelation, the 18th chapter, when it says that the wine of our fornication, this is talking about those philosophies, because find out not only were they taking our money to fund this transgender research on animals, they was researching and funding these particular experiments and pushing them on different countries, man. So they take your hard-earned dollars that you working 80 hours a week doing Uber, broke as hell, you know what I'm saying? Trying to make ends meet to pay rent while your rent is increasing every fucking 4 months, taxes going up, and they're taking your hard-earned Uber money and funding research on something that's so goddamn minute. And you wonder why, you know, the American people getting ready to lose it, man. And I'm surprised these people, you people should have been lost it. You know, these people have been playing you people to the left. And yet you still sit back because they throw football in front of you, where you still got a fucking Taco Tuesday, which you're paying $3 for a hard shell taco. Can't pay me to pay that shit. Fuck that. But it says here, and the power of the earth is in the hand of the Lord, and in due time he will set over one that is profitable. And that's going to be us, man. Underneath Yahweh Shai, ruling this world in righteousness. And I can't wait, man. All right. Book of Psalms 54. And I'm going to start at verses 2. It says, hear my prayer, O power, and give ear to the words of my mouth. For strangers are risen up against me, and the oppressors seek after my soul, and they have not set the Most High before them. That's right. Okay, because the fact that you're putting a damper on men's reproductive rights, all because the women are having issues with going to unalive their kids. It's just like we're not telling women that, you know, they can't have babies and, you know, do what they have to do as far as taking care of themselves, you know. But the fact that you want to go out there and you want to put another spirit back in the spirit world because you want to go out and play the harlot, that's unethical, man. Okay? That's unjust, that's unethical, and that it shouldn't even be, we shouldn't even be having conversations about that. Okay, just the common decency of being a fucking person, something should kick in. Some type of remorse should kick in your spirit, but these people operate with complete impunity of wickedness, man. You know, and they wonder why, hey, we be cussing them. They wonder why the Lord is getting ready to jack their ass up. But anyway, last precept, it says here, woe to them that decree unrighteous decrees and that write grievousness which they have prescribed. Yeah, and that would be a grievous law, even though they mentioned that it's a satirical, meaning that it's not together true, just a talking point. But don't believe don't believe for 1 second that thought has not crossed the mind of these elites. Okay, because if they can cut us off, Psalms 83 is really about cutting off the Israelites. They can literally cut us off at the testes, they'd do it. And in many cases, they was castrating Jake. They cut off your rod, cut off your testes, man. And, you know, hey, the rest is history. But it says here to turn aside the needy from judgment, and the needy is our people, and take away the right from the poor of my people, that widows may be their prey, that they may rob the fatherless, man. Okay? So, hey, I'm going to end it giving all praises and glory and honor that's due to you. How about Shemi Hawashai? Lord's will, you will edify. To the next session. Shalom.
All right, a warning up front about this next story, okay? It may not be suitable for young children to hear, so just take a moment on that. We're talking about a new bill in Columbus. It's getting a lot of attention. It's nicknamed the Conception Begins at Erection Act.
Columbus Bureau reporter Morgan Trout explains it's an attempt to expand the conversation about unplanned pregnancies and whether men should be held accountable as well. One more reminder, this report does use technical language.
You don't get pregnant on your own.
That's why gynecologist and Ohio State Rep. Anita Samani wants to start regulating men's reproductive health care.
If you're going to penalize someone for an unwanted pregnancy, then why not penalize the person who is also responsible for the pregnancy?
She introduced a bill that would make it a felony for men to discharge genetic material without the intent to fertilize an embryo. There are some exceptions, such as if you use protection during sex with a partner or masturbation. So what this would apply to is consensual sex without a condom, without actually wanting to procreate.
It's beyond ridiculous what's going on here. It's a mockery of the most basic biological concepts.
That sentiment is something both anti-abortion advocate Austin Beigel and Samani agree on.
If you think it's absurd to regulate men, then you should think it's equally absurd to regulate women.
So this is really a statement.
It is a statement.
Voters legalized and protected the right to abortion in 2023, but activists like Beigel are still trying to reverse that. He says that in the coming weeks, lawmakers will introduce a new bill to criminalize abortion totally.
Just says human life begins at conception. Therefore, all the protections that are offered to other people under the state law are also offered the preborn.
He adds that he understands that Samani is being satirical, but that she's missing the mark.
The pro-life movement has never tried to regulate women's bodies. We're trying to regulate the actions of people who want to kill another person.
Michael says this bill is invasive and isn't based on science, and he questions how the Democrats are spending their time.
If they think that it's a waste of taxpayer money, well, then they should think the same on the other side.
This bill likely isn't conceivable in the GOP-controlled legislature, but it is heating up the conversation. At the Ohio State House, I'm Morgan Trout reporting.